welcome to the Real P&L Trading Show, where I share my real P&L on 4 accounts and share my proprietary SafeWheel system for free. Okay, let's get started here. First thing, I want to check my audio. A lot of times my tech isn't that good, and I always rely on feedback to make sure that my audio is working okay. Please let me know that my audio is working okay, and also post any questions you might have, because a lot of times there's a delay. You might want to ask me a question. Make sure you do those early so I can get to those before the end of the broadcast. Let me fix my camera a little bit here. Okay, Will says audio is good. Thank you. Appreciate that very much. Okay, let's get to it. Earnings Edge. What happened with Earnings Edge? You can see my account here. Balance 7632. I'm going to put that into the spreadsheet so it's kind of a comparable thing where you can kind of see what happened over time. 7632. 7632. Okay. So what happened last time? I traded NXPI. I made $158. I think this number was from 2 weeks ago, the 7,800. Since my last update in 2022, 31 wins, 25 losses, 9 break-evens. My average win since inception, 662, average loss 612. You can see those are actually coming into becoming more equal. They used to be, this was much higher than this one was lower. And that's because I started trading a different exit criteria. But you know what? I went back to the old exit criteria. So we should see this number start to increase. This one start to, well, this one may or may not decrease. But this one should start to increase more. And then my win rate will probably go down. And that's probably what's going to happen. You can see the results here. 2022 vastly outperformed the market. 2023 underperformed a little bit, but really underperformed probably a lot because I had higher drawdowns than the market. And then 2024, you can see obviously underperforming there, but overall up 52% since I started the EE in 2022, and the market's up 23% since then. So what is the market averaging around just over 7% a year since the beginning of 2022? Oh, let's put in SPY. Let's see what SPY is. SPY is trading at 571.68. 571.68. So it's not quite as high. It's only up about 20%. So we had about a 3% drop over the last week. I think we had that big day at the end of the month where the market went down significantly. Okay, so I think that's everything on the Earnings Edge. You saw the trade that I made, right? And let me get this here. So the spreadsheet, let me move this out of the way. So I did trade NXPI. You can see I made $158 right there. Okay, let's talk about what's next on the list. Which account are we going to? Okay, the PL5 Pro, not the S&P variant, but the PL5 Pro. Now that's the one with my larger account, right? $440,000 in there. Let's see how that one did. And that would be 527. I'm going to make sure I go into the right account. 527. And yeah, 448, call it 600. 448, it's hard to get a number here. 448, let's call it, yeah, 600. 448, 600. Oops, that's not what I want to bring over here. 448, 600. So 448, 600. Okay, so you can see what I've done. I started this system, the PL5 Pro. Now that's an update to the system, to the trading system. I was running the PL5, but not the Pro, up until about middle of July. So this is an upgrade. So I started tracking since then. I started with about $404,000. Now it's $448. So I'm up $44,000 so far since the middle of July. I'm up about 11%. Now the S&P is up. This is 571.68. The S&P is up 4% since July 19th. So outperforming the market. In a bull market, I might not outperform, but we really haven't had a strong bull market since the middle of July. So that's why I'm easily outperforming here. Plus the crash, right? I'm hedged, of course, and I made, I don't know, around 7% just on that one day. So that helped out quite a bit. Okay, so the PL5 Premier Level 5 Pro, my larger account where I have majority of my net worth, is doing quite well. Okay, let's go to the Premier Level 5. Now this is the variant, the S&P 500 variant. I'm running it with a $30,000 account. Started this in the middle of July too, again because it's the Pro. And let's see what the account value is. I can't put this fully on my screen because Interactive Brokers changed the way that they report, and so I kind of have to just show you a little bit there. So what was that? I had that on because it'll show my account number. So I'm at 31,651. 31,651. So it's down a little bit. So it's going down with the market, right? As the market was down last week, so is the S&P, the PL5 Pro S&P 500 variant, right? The variant here that I'm running. But it's still going to outperform. Well, it still is outperforming, up 5.5%, where the market's only up 1.5%. So since mid-July, the market's only up 1.5%. It's interesting how July 19th and July 16th have such a different return. The S&P's up 4% from July 19th, but from July 16th, it's up 1.49. That was kind of a peak there, July 16th. But up 5%, 5.5% versus 1.49 on the variant, up 11% versus 4% on the straight PL5 Pro. All right, let's talk about the Safe Wheel. Safe Wheel, I'm going to pull up the account for the Safe Wheel. It should be this account here. 5973. 5973. Down a little bit from last week. You can see that the Safe Wheel is just about equal on performance with the S&P 500 overall. The Safe Wheel is up 19.46, the S&P 20.36 since the beginning of 2022 when I started trading this live. You can see it vastly outperformed in 2022, underperformed in 2023, 5% versus 24. And this year actually down 7% versus the S&P up 20%. So the Safe Wheel isn't doing quite as well the way that I'm running it. Other people could be running the Safe Wheel and they could be up. It just depends on what underlying you're doing. It depends on what how you're trading it, the little tweaks that you might make to it, and the underlying and how the underlying is acting. Totally could get totally different results. Now with the PL5 Pro, you're not going to see this kind of variant. Like everyone running the PL5 Pro, they're going to have very similar results because we're all running with the same underlying. Okay, so again, we've got, what's good about this is probably about half the drawdowns of the S&P 500, but about the same returns over the last almost 3 years. So that's quite well. I like the fact that we can, or that I can have a system that's systematic and and perform as well or better on a risk-adjusted basis in the S&P 500. Not a lot of people can do that. That's hardly anyone can do that. Okay, so that's the Safe Wheel. Let's go into the Safe Wheel about what I need to do next. Interesting that I'm trading pins. Let's go to the chart here. And you can see that earnings are coming up. So what's happening with that? That means that the premiums are really high. There's a lot of juice in here. Let's see what I need to do, or what's coming up next with pins. Okay, I own 200 shares. So if I own 200 shares, I'm trying to sell covered calls. My cost basis for the stock was $33. I got assigned, and I got assigned at $34. So I want to try to sell premium at least at $33 and at least at $34, which I know I can get way better, higher strikes than that and get premium because they're coming into earnings. But the first thing I want to do here is check the hedges. Make sure the hedges are in line. So 3 questions I asked. If I own 200 shares, I asked 3 questions about my hedge, my put hedge. Number 1, has it paid off? In other words, have I made more from my hedge than what I'm down on my shares? And the answer is no. My hedge is actually down, and my shares are down $289. My hedge is actually down $163. So the answer is no. My hedge is not paying off. I'm not going to use it. I'm not going to, get out of all my positions and have my hedge, do its job, because hasn't done its job here. That's number 1. Question number 2, am I under 100 days until expiration? No, I'm above 100, so I don't do anything there. And then my third question is this $24 within 70% of 32? I want to make sure my hedge is close enough. It's got to be within 70%. So 24 divided by 32.06. It's 74%, 75% close. So it's close enough to do its job. So that hedge, I do nothing. Next, I own the $45 call. So this thing's trading at $32. I had to go all the way out to the $45 call in order to pay $6 for my long call this time. Because of going into earnings, these are super expensive. Well, they're not super expensive. You just have to go way further out of the money to get the one for $5 or $6. So I have the $45 call just to protect this put hedge. Okay, and now I got 200 shares. The question now is, at my assigned price, $33 and $34, can I sell some covered calls? Let's go take a look. Because I'm in the wheel and I own shares, right? So on the traditional part of this wheel, I'm going to sell. So I go into the nearest expiration. That's the way the safe wheel works. And at $34, can I get at least 32 cents? Yeah, I can get $1.50. And at 33, can I get at least 32 cents? Yeah, I can do that. I can get $1.88. Way more than what I need to get. I'm not going to sell at the money. Typically, what I like to do is find out where the lowest point I could actually sell, right, and get 32 cents. And that would be right here at the $39.50. I could technically sell this $39.50 call and play by the rules. In other words, I can collect at least 32 cents. What I like to do is go here and then one back and take a little more premium. So I'm going to sell the $39 call here. And yeah, I could sell the $34 call and collect all that premium. But I'm going to sell the $39 call, and we'll hope that pins will go up. I'll actually kind of be long here, right? If it goes up on earnings, that'll help me out a lot. If it doesn't go up on earnings, I'm hedged. Okay, so either way, I'm okay. But I'm going to go for the gusto, I guess. Instead of taking the bird in the hand, I'm going to try to shoot for 2 birds in the bush. So I'm going to go for the $39. Now, I'm going to sell this. Normally I would sell 1, but I'm going to sell 2 because I own 200 shares. So I'm going to collect some premium. ABC, always be collecting premium. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm going to be collecting premium. I'm going to collect another $39 times 2, around 80 bucks, whatever it's going to be there for this week. See if that fills. Okay, filled order. So I just collected another 78 bucks. So I'm always collecting premium. And, I own 200 shares, so obviously I want the pins to go higher. But if it does go lower, I own the put. I own 3 of them. So I'm only long 200 shares, but I own 3 long puts. So I'm basically short 300 shares at the 24 strike. Okay, let's see if there's any questions or comments. Shovel, he was first. And he was first today. Sometimes he says first, but he's not first. And Shovel says, a reminder for me to remind you guys, hey, hit that like button. You see that I share my P&L. If you feel like that's important and that other instructors should start sharing their P&L, the best way to make that happen is to let other people see what I'm doing. And the best way to do that is hit the like button. Okay, Will says audio good. Okay. Will, election predictions. I hope for Trump, but I've hedged by betting huge on Kamala. That way, if Kamala wins, I'll be sad Trump lost, but at least I'll make 4 years of gas money. Yeah, I did the same thing with the Dodgers. I don't like the Dodgers. I'm a Giants fan, so I bet for the Dodgers to win. That way, if they win, I make money, but if they win, I'm not happy about it. Yeah, I understand that bet. What do I think is going to happen? I looked up the odds yesterday on who was going to win the election, and the money talks, right? And it looks like Trump has a slight edge. His I can't remember the exact numbers, but it looked like Trump had the edge when people actually putting money down. So that's kind of where I go to see who's going to win the election there. Will says, I've learned a hedge from you. Yeah. Will, anything you can tell us about markets during an election year from your years of experience? I don't remember. Nothing really happened, I don't think, in 2020, but I remember 2016 where the uncertainty creeped in overnight, and because everyone thought Hillary Clinton was going to win, and when they realized Trump was going to win, the markets tanked because it was it's all about uncertainty and certainty, right? So uncertainty hit the markets, so the markets tanked, and then people had the realization, wait a minute, Trump's going to be president. That's probably better for the economy or the, business. So then by the end of the day, by the time the market opened, I think it was already back to even, but it was down significantly, maybe 2 or 3%. I don't remember. But I don't typically, I think my thoughts are that there's some volatility. What's the VIX trading at? The VIX is trading at 22, right? I think maybe the VIX would be at 15 or 16 right now if there was no election. And if we get a clear winner, which we probably won't, then the VIX is probably going to drop, the volatility and everything's going to be, all the certainty is going to come into the market. If it keeps going longer and longer where we don't know who's going to win and we're counting votes and it's getting all crazy, then there's going to be more uncertainty and then there's going to be more volatility in the market. That's the only way I can look at it. But I have, I'm non-directional. I sell premium. I'm hedged, so I don't make any decisions based on this fundamental analysis. Will, lots of premium this week with earnings. I kind of want to sell 2 calls. Yeah, I sold 2 calls just now, but that's because I'm long 200 shares. I kind of want to use 25% of my premium to buy the put or call for hedging this week, which would be like a caller, right? So you could sell a call, use that money to buy a put. That's a caller trade, and or risk reversal, which is not a bad idea if you want to hedge your portfolio. It's one way to do it, because you can just basically pay. You can cap your gains, but if you cap your gains, that pays for your hedge. Okay, IU, the safe wheel. What do you do if there isn't a call on Friday to buy to protect your put hedge for 1% because of the volatility? Do you buy what's available at any price? Yeah, like you might have to pay $8 or $10 for a call. That's what I would do. I would pay a little bit more if the calls fall off. So for example, if we're looking at this, which one can I buy here? See, the 45 is available, and luckily it's only 5 cents. I mean, it's possible that the 45 could be 10 cents. And I'm like, well, that's the one that I could buy. So I'd probably pay that $10 for it. Less is more. Could the same strategy be used for a longer time frame with a safe wheel? For example, use a 2 week out options rather than 1 week, I think absolutely it could be back tested to make sure, but I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. I I specifically built this strategy around wanting to have a live stream and teaching people how to trade. And I wanted to do my live stream weekly. So, I mean, there's a lot of other factors that came in to make that the safe wheel the way it is. I mean, it wasn't just only about, possibly the best scenario where maybe 2 weeks might work better or a 1 month might be better. I mean, if I was probably trading this on my own and wasn't teaching anyone, maybe I would do it on a monthly basis. That way I wouldn't have to deal with it so much, right? I wouldn't have, instead of coming in once a week and dealing with it, I'd come in once a month and deal with it. I like to trade like that, where I don't have a lot of things to do, right? That's trading is supposed to create not time, also not just money. But yeah, I like the idea, back test the idea, and let me know what you find out. Will, I believe last year there was an occasion where we spent a bit more than $5 on a call because the premium was so high. That is totally possible, right? Because I had to buy this 45, I think I own the 45 here, and if I had to pay more, I would have paid more for it. Avery sends a reminder to hit that like button. Please just move your mouse a little bit, hit the like button. I appreciate that. LG, odds are, okay, minus 151 Trump versus 131 Kamala. So it's pretty close, but you could see Trump is still favored. I think that number is even better than what I looked at it. I thought Trump was maybe 120 and Kamala plus 111, something like that. So it looks like it's even more for Trump. Or maybe it depends on where you get your information too. Yeah, almost 2-1 in favor of Trump right now. So that moved from yesterday. It wasn't that high yesterday. And these are the current odds posted on Bet Online. So probably Bet Online or whoever you're using, they're probably pretty close to everyone. They're not going to be, there'd be some arbitrage there if there wasn't. So they're probably all pretty well aligned. So that's probably where we are. Looks like Trump has is favored. You know, it's weird because in the media you think Kamala's going to win, no problem. But that's why I go to where the money is to see the truth, right? I'm just not sure what I'm hearing out there all the time. And Will says last. I guess you're referring to Shovel being first. Okay. All right. You guys make sure you put your comments in early because I'm getting ready to end the live stream and I won't be able to get to your questions towards the end here, which that is where I'm at. And what I like to always say on heading out is, if the P&L is not real, what else are they trying to conceal? I appreciate you guys, and I'll be back next week.